Hey, Goat Knucklers, it's Flo with Go Knuckle Talk with Flo. Welcome back. And yes, it's pre-Valentine's Day. So let me go ahead and bring up my sweetheart, Lisa Nolan Hafner. Hello.
Hi, Michael.
So who are these lovely couples?
Oh my gosh, this is probably my favorite show, having sweethearts today. So please welcome Russell Horan and Vicki Baldridge. And I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question shortly. Craig Etheridge and Liz Hart, Rodney Hunt and Sharon Dowis. Okay, so Craig and Liz, where do you live?
We live in Colleyville, Texas,
Okay, and what year did y'all graduate?
1984.
84.
1984. Okay, Sharon and Rodney, where do you live and what year did you graduate?
We live in Lubbock, and I graduated in 1984.
I graduated in 85.
Cougar.
Oh, yeah. She'll always be an old lady.
We are back in Plainview, the wonderful town. I
Wonderful.
graduated in 84.
I graduated in 86.
Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Super excited. And, in this day and time, I think talking about love is a really good subject.
Absolutely. And you guys are high school sweethearts. I mean, so when did you, Craig and Liz, when did you guys start dating?
All right, Liz, go ahead. Tell them.
I know, I'm Craig. You answer the question.
Well,
Approximately.
actually, we started about our senior year in high school,
Yes.
right? Our senior year in high school.
Yes.
What was that? Coronation?
Yes.
Is that where, like, they had the thing where the girls asked the guys like 5 years earlier or something like that? That's some crazy deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we, kind of noticed each other then. Of course, we know each other a long time, and then we dated our senior year.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, who pursued who?
That would be him.
Yeah, definitely. I was pursuing her. No question about it.
Still doing that.
Still doing it. Still chasing her.
You're a smart guy. You are so smart.
Well, what about Vicki, Russell? What about you guys?
Well, our first date was my senior year. We dated kind of off and on, but probably really seriously, I was in Longview, so that would have been in 85, I guess, 85, 86 year. And so that's when we started seriously dating.
Okay. And you were in Longview, huh? And
I
where
was
were
in
you,
college
Vicki?
in Longview.
Where were
I
you,
was still in
Vicki?
high school.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Can you say that again?
Still in high school.
And it's funny how, back then, they'd make a phone call or send a letter, mail a letter.
Right.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
no texting or
No.
messaging. I mean, you had to do it old school.
We had,
that's-
in our dorm, we had a phone at each end of the dorm, and that was the only phone we had.
Oh,
And so they had to come if somebody called, they had to come find you.
Oh, was it a payphone or can you make out low?
It was a payphone, but you could, make collect calls, but just typical payphone.
You know what I love about love and romance in our era is that you had to really put some effort into it. Like you had to be very intentional, and you had to put effort. Today, dating is, I don't think the connections are as deep because there's not the effort
Right.
of the pursuit. And, we were so lucky we did not have those contraptions. I hate those things. It's a love-hate relationship. I can't live without it. And, I can't stand it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
Sharon,
doubt.
what about you and Rodney?
So we started dating in the first part of my junior year, and it would have been his sophomore year.
Mhm.
And we were trying to remember who pursued who. I think we both wondered. I wondered, does he like me? And he wondered kind of the same thing. And I probably had Michelle or one of my friends ask one of his friends, but he was the one that asked.
Yes, I know.
Now, both of you guys played the trumpet, didn't y'all?
Yeah,
band?
and that's really how we met was in band.
Yeah, I had to wait till she left high school before I could do first chair.
Ah.
She's always
Yeah.
better than me.
Absolutely. Well, that's cool. And then when did everyone get married? So go back to Sharon and Rodney. When did you guys get married, and how many years now?
86. Yeah, we got married in 86, December of 86. And
Wow.
39?
It's been a while.
39 years, I think. Yeah. I did my math
Man.
right. It'll be
1
39
year.
this December.
38 right now.
1 year right out of high school. Wow. Well, good for y'all. Congratulations. What about the Harans? When did you guys get married?
We got married in 1990.
Okay. A little
Been
late
30
bloomers,
this,
but
yeah. It's be 35 years this year.
okay. Etheridge's?
Yeah, 86. Yep, 2 years. You know, we
Yeah.
were just finished our
Junior year.
our sophomore year,
Yeah.
and we're
Not to
going into our
junior year
junior
tech.
year.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
Well, let me ask you, this is going to be a part 2 question. How did you propose and where did you guys get married?
I proposed to her because you were working at Marsh and Son
that's right.
during the summer,
That's right.
and I was working in College Station. I was working on the highway department in College Station for a
Oh,
summer
wow.
job. And so I was shoveling hot mix, and I mean, it was a sweat labor job.
That's right.
And all my money for that summer went to buy her ring. And so I called, got you off for the day, and I made these arrangements for her to fly to Dallas. And when you landed in Dallas, it was pouring down rain. I was dressed up real fancy and had a suit and tie on, and we went to the outside, and it was pouring down. And I said, let's just wait here for a minute and see if the rain stops. And then our limo pulled up, and I said, come on, let's go. And so we jumped in this limo. I had rented it, of course. And we drove around Dallas and went to the Hyatt. The Regency
Regency ball.
the ball.
Yeah.
Dallas, and
Mhm.
went up there and ate dinner, and I proposed to her there in the restaurant, and everybody clapped. I got down on my knee and everybody clapped for us. And
So true.
so it was great.
Nice.
Awesome.
By the way, I've lived I live 30 minutes from College Station right now. I live in Hempstead, so
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll probably drive over the road that you fixed.
Yeah, that's right. Probably so. Probably so.
I see the imperfections. That guy had to been correct.
Yeah, that
right
was
there.
Craig right there. That was all Craig.
All right, Horans, what about you? How'd you propose, Russell?
I want to ask Liz a question.
Okay.
Did you, when you saw all that, did you know? Did you?
I
Good
mean,
question.
when the limo pulled up, I was like, maybe this is like something more than just a date. So yes, I did.
You
Oh.
suspected, yes.
I
Okay.
suspected. Yeah.
I was just trying to make it hard for her to say no.
He did for sure.
Cool.
We're going
Oh,
to skip
alright.
this question.
Now Russell and Vicky.
We're going to skip this question.
You
Greg
didn't
made me look
propose.
bad.
So, no. So I was in Albuquerque working there when I was with the FAA, and I had bought a ring and shipped it back to my parents. Well, my dad had thought my mom had ordered a ring, so he hid it from her.
Oh, wow.
And so it was weeks later before they figured out it was my ring. I guess when I showed up at home, because I couldn't find the ring. I asked my mom where the ring was. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we found out my dad had hid the ring, so I got the ring. And so anyway, when I was there, I wasn't planning on giving it to her, but my mom kind of talked me into it. So there really wasn't much of a proposal, but I gave her the ring one weekend when I came home. And so I would say there's probably never been an official proposal, I should say.
Well, let's make it tonight.
Yeah. Get on your knee, brother.
You guys.
Get on your knee.
Oh, man. There's a question on here that will explain a
There's
lot of that.
more to it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. Oh, and then going, forgot the second part. Where did you guys get married?
We got married here in Plainview at her mom and dad's house.
Okay, cool.
I love
So,
home weddings.
Well,
yeah,
it was supposed to be a church wedding, but
that may be another question there.
yeah, there, like I say, it's a long story. It's sort of comical, and funny.
Tell us. This is what we're here to tell stories. Let's
Okay.
tell
Well,
us.
we didn't want to jump ahead to questions.
Yeah.
So,
No.
so,
Tell the story.
Your
okay.
part.
All right. Well, so I'm living in Albuquerque and she's here. And so I had to have surgery and I booked it for here in Plainview because my medical hadn't kicked in out there. So I was still on my parents' medical. So I came out here to have the surgery done. And that was on a Monday. It was supposed to have been a day surgery, got out, had some complications, had to go back in. Well, this was in October. We got engaged in September. And so we decided that we were going to get married in the next year in April. Well, anyway, I had the surgery done, and in the hospital, I'm having complications, and so they put me back in. And while I was in there, her and my mom got together, and it was like, okay, you want your pills? I think y'all ought to get married. So it's like holding me hostage with my pills, and so it's like, yeah, I want my pills, but my pain pills. So they decided for us that we were going to get married, the two of them, while I was home. So we kind of, okay, that's fine. And got out of the hospital on Thursday. And we decided this, I guess, Thursday morning. So Friday, you quit your job, didn't you, on Friday?
Well, actually, I quit my job Thursday night
Thursday
at 10
night.
o'clock
Okay.
because his mom during the hospital, she says, I don't want to go home and take care of you. Why don't y'all just go ahead and get married?
Because I couldn't lift anything. I couldn't
Yeah.
do anything after the surgery. So um, we decided to do that. So that was Friday. Or Thursday night. So Friday when I got out, we'd go to a marriage license. And you tell that one.
Okay. So Russell can't climb the steps to the courthouse because he had hernia surgery. So me and his mom go to the marriage license office and we go in and Betty's like, well, I need a marriage license. And this old lady just standing there, she looked at Betty, she looked at me, she looked back at Betty, and Betty starts dying laughing. We start laughing because it's not for me, it's for my son and daughter-in-law. And she's like, well, where's the son? Well, he's out in the car because he couldn't climb the steps to the courthouse. So we're laughing and she just stares at us. So
She thinks they want one.
Yeah.
so we get the marriage license. We have to go outside and get a witness for Russell to sign because he couldn't climb the
Of course,
steps.
I'm yelling, help, get me out of this. They don't help me.
So,
And you're in
anyway, so
Plainview.
then, yeah,
Yeah.
so that was Friday, and we got married at my parents' house on Sunday night. And I had to go around town to find a new dress because my dress wasn't going to be in till January. And so I was going around town trying to find a new dress, and my mom's like, "Oh, she's getting married." And of course, everybody's just looking like, "Yeah, you're expecting," and all that stuff, but no. So it's
Well,
really,
and then I had to be back at work on Tuesday. So we got married Sunday night, and then Monday night they flew me out back out to Albuquerque so I wouldn't have to drive. And then her, I guess we had Brent and Denise Everhart was with us also, but they brought her and my mom, and then I guess my dad and your mom and dad drove out.
yeah, your
No,
dad,
flew us.
yeah.
That's right. Dad flew me. So our honeymoon was the hotel here in Plainview with a box of pizza. That was as far as I could go.
And you were able to work on Tuesday?
I was able to work, but so my job was I wasn't actually controller at the time. I was basically a paper boy, a strip ripper. So we just manned the printer, and so I could do that, just sit in a chair and still show up for work. But that's it. So they were pretty lenient with me after having surgery. So,
Well, that's cool.
Russell, I think you owe her a proper honeymoon. That's all I'm going to say.
well,
Yeah.
we had a honeymoon, but
Okay.
the proposal was pretty weak, but it was all one of those that was not planned,
Yeah.
and it didn't go the way I really wanted it to, and definitely not the way she wanted it to. But
But it worked out for the best. 'cause
Yeah,
now
of
the
course.
boy is getting bigger and bigger.
yeah, it was getting a lot of hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, cool. Um, okay, Hans, you're next. How'd you propose, Rodney or Sharon?
Well, we'd been talking about getting married for a while because we dated for like ever 5 years, and we were sitting out in her mom and dad's backyard one evening in early summer. Um, and she was like, "When are we gonna get married?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." So I got down on one knee and handed her a ring, and she said, "Oh, great, let's get married in December." So, like, okay, I guess we can plan it that fast. But
It was in August.
yeah,
And so I was still at Tech and I was commuting. We had gone to Angelo State. I went to Angelo State for a couple of years and he went. And then I decided to transfer to Tech. So we had moved back home. And after you've been in college a couple of years, it's not fun to really move back home. And so we were both ready to get out. So we got engaged at August and got married December.
it was
Yeah.
great because we got married there at Parkview Baptist Church there in Plainview, and they've decorated for Christmas, for December. And we were like, they're like, "Do we need to take the Christmas tree down and all the?" I'm like, "No, this is our decorations. Leave it."
Yeah, hell yeah.
I-
Heck yeah. Was
So
anybody
my grades were
around?
not good that semester or the next semester. I did not do very good, but I still graduated, so that's good.
Was anyone around, Rodney, when you proposed?
And her,
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
I was scared of her dad, so no, not really.
So, gentlemen, that brings up this. Gentlemen, did you ask the father's blessing? And if you did, how did you do it, Craig? Craig?
Yeah, well, Liz's dad had passed away,
My
many
apologies.
years earlier, but I did talk to her mom
Okay.
and her grandparents, and so they were all positive. So that was good.
Well, good. And then where did you guys get married? Before I let the other guys answer.
We got married in Plainview at First Presbyterian Church
Yep.
in Plainview.
Yeah, right there by the
Yeah.
practice field. Remember
Mhm.
the Presbyterian church was back the football
Right.
practice field.
We got
Yeah, I
married.
went there a few times. I was dating a girl in '85. Won't mention her name, but she went there. So I went with her a few times. I liked it. It was a good
Yeah.
church.
It was great.
So Russell, did you ask a blessing from?
In a roundabout way, yeah. I knew her dad long before I knew her, and so we talked a lot. He come out to what we call the hangar where we used to work, and so he and I talked quite a bit when he'd come out there. So
You already
he and I
have
got along.
approval.
Yeah, he and I got along real good. So
Good. Rodney, you were
Yeah.
afraid of daddy. So.
The first time that I met her dad, he met me at the door with a gun in his hand.
No way. Really?
Yeah, he said, "When you have my daughter home?" I said, "We're not going anywhere. We're staying right here."
Yeah, no,
Here's the BB gun.
I think he had been shooting at birds, but he was always joking around. He was
Sure.
so.
Mhm.
I first met her dad. So I worked at M System grocery store, and so he was the Borden's milkman. So he would bring the milk into the store, and I would have to count the milk to make sure that he wasn't trying to cheat the store. So we'd already met each other, and so I'd ask him before I ever asked her, and I think he knew it was coming. He just didn't know when I was going to ask. He's like,
Yeah.
just waiting.
That's cool. That's
Oh.
cool.
That's what, so Michael, I'm gonna share with the group a funny story about my proposal and wedding. My husband and I woke up. We weren't married at the time, and it was a Friday. And he rolls over and looks at me and says, "Hey, want to go to the courthouse?" And I went, "Okay." It was April Fool's Day, and we got married April Fool's Day.
Oh.
I
You're,
was just
you-
spontaneous, never discussed thing, and
this
it's the best
you-
decision I've ever made.
you and Ronnie?
No, my
Oh.
current husband Wayne.
Oh, Wayne. Okay, my bad. My bad. Okay.
No, poor Ronnie. I put him through. It was torture. He and his parents drove to Dallas, and my parents hosted them, and he was very nervous. I pretty much said, you're going to propose to me and it's going to be on this date and you need to tell your parents and you need to be on time.
Hey.
I need to move out. I had moved back home my junior year of college and my parents were super strict and they're like, if you're moving out, it's to get married. Go on the phone. Hello, we are getting married. You know, Ronnie's like, okay. Poor guy. Hopefully he's forgiven me after all these years.
So guys, you have any funny dating or like wedding stories? Like anything happened funny? The hunts. I'll go with you guys. That anything comical?
Where do we begin?
There was other things and stuff, and then this, just when we were dating, goodness, I wasn't the best driver in the world. We both drove too fast, and I had a wreck in my car, and so I had just got my car back, and it was ungrounded, and so we were driving down Fifth Street, and then Rodney came in his El Camino. I forget who all was with me, but we started racing down Fifth Street, and then cop got behind us, and I turned one way, he turned the other way. I went down some alley and we were bouncing around. We pulled in somebody's driveway and I told everybody to get down. I thought, my dad is going to kill me. He is going to kill me if I get a freaking ticket as soon as I'm ungrounded. And we stayed there probably about 15 minutes and then we went back out and neither one of us, I said, did you get a ticket? And he's like, no, did you? Anyway.
Yeah, because they didn't even follow me. They were after her.
No, they were probably after me. He always got stopped because he had that El Camino and they always thought he had something under his tarp. And he was the least likely person to have any alcohol or anything because he didn't drink. He didn't do anything like that. So, but he always looked like it because he had long hair and he had the El Camino and all of that. But
I think I had that El Camino when you lived next door to us. You had that, well, you had the was it Trans Am or Firebird? This is Firebird.
Trans Am.
Trans Am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Brown. Cool.
Yeah.
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 that was just a
Yeah.
funny story.
Well,
when we were dating.
it's even funnier before that because what she did when she wrecked the car, y'all know where the Trio Rebel used to be, right there in Plainview on Fifth Street, or Arrowhead. Yeah, now it was Arrowhead then. And it had those probably a foot tall curves because it was a drainage area. And she had tried to make a turn there. I think we were racing then too. And she tried to make a turn there and didn't see that it was a curve. And so she went through it. When I got,
Oh, geez.
yeah. So she did that on like a Friday night. And so she was grounded. She couldn't call me or anything. So we didn't even know. I didn't even know what had happened. When I finally got to see the car, there was an imprint of the air cleaner on the hood. She had knocked the motor off the mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Where did you drive, Sharon? Where did you drive?
It was that AMC Spirit that me and Michelle had. You know, me and Michelle shared everything. You know, we were pretty much like twins. So, anyway.
So Monday I found out that, she was grounded and couldn't talk to me, but I was like,
Yeah, well, and that's what like you were talking about, Lisa, when we didn't have cell phones. So I was grounded, like I was really grounded. And I was upset with myself too, because that was stupid. So I was really mad at myself. Well, Rodney, I didn't call him all weekend because I was grounded. And so Monday at school, he found out I'd had this wreck. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, I was grounded. I couldn't. And so it was before the days of cell phone when he didn't know that I had a wreck and nearly totaled my car until.
Well, if you had a cell phone, they would probably taken it away from you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It was.
yeah.
It was. Anyway.
what about you, Craig and Liz? Any funny?
Dating or wedding stories?
Honeymoon, anything?
When we were our senior year, we were just beginning the dating process. And that was back when, if you were a senior cheerleader, you could kind of arrange your own pep rally. Is that right?
That's right.
You pick the songs, you pick the cheers, you pick all the, and so
The speaker.
and so you pick your football speaker to get up. So she picked me to address the crowd. And I remember I had my helmet under my arm and walked up there. My hair was a little bit longer, and I
You
thought
had lots of
I
hair.
had hair. I had hair back then.
And it was red,
Oh, la,
wasn't
la.
it?
Yeah, it was kind of red. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we were playing Lubbock High, and I was going to end with, so come on out and watch us whip
Whip the
the Westerners. That was my finish. And so I made a couple comments, thank you for your support, blah, 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 that kind of thing. I said, so come on out and Wappa switch to Westerners, which did not go quite like I had hoped. I got all tangled and yeah, and I'm sure she thought, oh my gosh, hanging her head in shame because I fumbled the big line.
He speaks for a living.
Yeah. So I knew at that
way.
point I was a public speaker.
All your teammates harassed you after that?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yes.
For sure.
That's hilarious.
Oh my. But that was back in our early dating time.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who was your second option, Liz? I know it's over 40 years ago.
I don't even know. I mean,
She's blotted all those fellas out of her mind. She doesn't remember them anymore.
Well, Horan's?
Well, the one that sticks out in my mind is shortly after we got married, my mom and dad, well, my wife had gone to Plainview, and she was going to ride with my mom and dad to Ute Lake. We were going to fish a tournament there, and I was going to meet them there from Albuquerque. So anyway, they had stopped at a rest area on the way out there. Well, my mom was going to fix them sandwiches. So my mom got in the trailer and was going to fix sandwiches. My wife got out to walk the dog. Well, my mom thought she was in the pickup. My dad thought she was in the trailer, and they got in the trailer and left her on the side of the road.
oh,
So she's walking the dog as the trailer's going down the road.
And I'm thinking, great. Are they ever going to realize I'm not with them? What am I to do? Because there's no cell phone. Just me on the side of the road.
So,
So then I see them get a little further down the road, and my father-in-law gets in the trailer. I see him stomp in, stomp back out, and get in the truck, and then turn all the way back around, come back and get me.
so welcome to the family.
Never a
Excellent.
dull
Welcome
moment.
to the family.
Never a double.
Well, did you laugh or were you mad at them?
I just laughed because I thought, oh well, this is part of the family, I guess.
You had the dog.
That's funny.
Gosh. Okay, so this is a deeper question. What do you like most about your partner? And I'm going to start with Russell and Vicki.
You go first.
Well, I really like about his heart because he's really true to his word and he's a good man. Very unique.
And he likes to fish.
He's my
I like that.
best. Yes. He's my best friend and we do everything together. He used to outfish me, but now I outfish him. So it's good.
you go, girl.
And quality or quantity?
Yes.
Or both?
Yes.
And what do you guys fish for? Bass?
Usually bass. Mhm.
Nice.
One of the first dating trips I took her on was just over here at Lake Horner. I don't know if y'all know where that's at, but it's just east of Plainview here. And she hooked probably one of the biggest bass I've ever seen. And ever since then, it's just been what she likes to do. So kind
Well,
of broke her in right.
I had to learn how or I get left behind because that whole family fishes. So
Mhm.
you better get with it and go. So it's been a lot of fun.
Good for you.
I guess that's what I like about her. She likes to go with me, and we enjoy each other's company, and we do pretty much everything together, and that keeps our relationship going. And we just enjoy being with each other. So
That's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Sharon, Rodney.
You know me, Kelly? So I guess it's just this kind of the same. We go everywhere together. She likes to do everything I like to do. Um, we always tell each other we have a drug problem. We drug each other everywhere we went. So, but you know, she really she's always been that kind of that know it all, do it all, gung ho, let's go. Even like you know, she owned a boat all growing up. And before she even had a driver's license, she'd take people to the lake, take them skiing, and you know that was something I really liked about her. She likes to go and likes to do, and she's not afraid to do anything. So we just recently bought a new boat, and you know it's been a lot of fun for the family to go out and wakeboard and do all that fun stuff. And you know she's just right there in it. She's wants to learn how to do everything, and she's not afraid to pull the boat, not afraid to drive, whatever it takes. She's just happy to be there, happy to get along. So she makes a good partner.
Beautiful.
And I guess with Ronnie, same thing. We just, I don't even remember what life was like before we were 16. We started dating, so it's just we've been through a lot together, and I just know, you know, he's my best friend too, and I just know he's always there for me, and just very loyal, dedicated to his family, and he just makes a lot of fun. He's just a lot of fun to be around, and tries to keep things lighthearted and stuff. So.
Funny thing, I didn't know how to swim till I got to dating her, and I realized real quick I was gonna have to learn how to swim because she likes to go to the lake so much. I was like, this is a dolphin. I'm gonna have to learn how to swim. So when I was 19 in college, my roommate the lights would go out on the swimming pool in the apartment complex we were staying in, and I'd go out there and I'd wade across, hyperventilate, and get out. I'd go a little deeper each night until the semester was over, and I was finally dog paddling across to try to swim, and finally taught myself how to swim. But it was because of her, because I knew I was going to have to, or she's going to drown me.
Right? A little sharp turn. There goes Rodney.
Yeah.
You know. So where do you guys? What lake in Lubbock do you take your boat?
Well, we go to lots of different places. We like Allen Henry, pretty good sized lake. It's
Yep.
But we like Lake Brownwood.
Yeah, Michelle's in Brownwood and her family and my mom. So we go to Lake Brownwood some and take Michelle's grandkids all inner tubing and stuff. So
Cool. That's fine. All right. What about you, Craig and Liz?
I'll go. Liz is probably one of the most thoughtful people that I know. She's incredibly generous and thoughtful of other people. And I've seen her just care for people that are struggling, people that are hurting. Obviously people in our family, our daughter, both our daughters, our grandkids, but she's just super thoughtful, caring, compassionate, and super supportive in everything that we do. And so we just kind of like everybody else was saying, we're just best friends, and we've been best friends since we were 10 years old. That's when we first met. And so anyway, I'm super blessed and thankful to have her in my life.
Yeah, I think with Craig, he's just, you know, a godly man. He leads our family so well and just leads me and loves me in a way that, you know, no one else could. So I am so thankful for that. He loves our kids and our grandkids so well, and I'm so thankful for that. I don't know. I just don't know what I would do without him. So we've been married a long time, and we're partners for life. So yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
You know what, you guys all have this longevity of your relationship that you know, you're always evolving as a human being. You're growing, you know, every decade you're not the same person that you were, you know, in your teens or your 20s or your 30s. And the fact that you've been able to grow together, and you know, couples go in and out like this, right? No one's perfect. No relationship is perfect, no matter how much you love your partner. Sometimes you love them deeply, but you don't like them. Or, you know, they get on your nerves, or you're madly in love and they're not, you know, all those things. But the fact that you've gone through all these eras of your life together and you're still here appreciating each other and loving each other, it's just such an incredible blessing. And, you know, even more so that we get to witness a little bit of this with you guys. And it's just so sweet and special. And, I hope tonight you realize, sharing these stories with your friends, um, that what you have is something just really beautiful and miraculous in this day and time. And don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted. It's really remarkable, and it's so moving to me, and really just touches my heart. So, Michael.
Well, you mentioned longevity. Hunts, what's your three key things, or one? I mean, you guys, all three of them. I mean, my parents were married 61 years, so that's a long time. I mean, you guys are halfway there, so you guys have another 30 more years. How you get? I mean, so what's the key?
We have good communication. We talk about everything. We talk a lot. That's probably one of our keyest factors is we always just talk about everything. I mean, if it's financial, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it. And, um, just, we've made a lot of decisions over our span together. It's not been either one of us. It's been together. And I really think that we kind of push each other for the strive to be our best. I mean, Sharon finished up her doctorate and she's teaching at Tech, and just, I'm so proud of her, and and I know that she's proud of me, and it kind of drives us to be better.
Well, and I think just sharing our faith together, and Rodney was a youth minister for several years, and we did youth together, and I think just serving together and serving God together, I think that's definitely, I think, the key, because Lisa, like you said, you're going to go through good times and bad times, and that happens, and there's times when you don't like each other, get on each other's nerves, but we know we love each other no matter what, and we love God and try to put him first, and then our family, and then just being with each other when we're both busy at different times, and so we just try to support each other and be there for each other, and I think that's just the key, and just laughing together, just trying to keep life fun, and I think
Sounds good.
Well said. Well said.
That's
All
good.
right, Craig and Liz.
Um, let's see. I would say, obviously, kind of ditto what you guys said about just putting Christ first in your relationship, because really, your walk with God really helps you to be able to have the love to share with another person. But I would say too, a big principle that we learned, probably around year 3 of our marriage, is just the important principle of honor, to honor one another. That's a biblical term.
Mhm.
And, it just really means to value another person. It means when you honor them, you really see the intrinsic value of who they are, and you treat them as the most important person in your life.
Mhm.
And, I think in our first couple of years, we were so young, we were trying to figure out how to be married. And, I didn't really know how to honor Liz the way I wanted to. And we just kind of got to a crisis moment where we went to this conference, this marriage conference, and I think it's the only one we'd ever been to. And this guy was talking about, this principle of honor and just honoring one another, putting each other first and treating each other with great value. And it was really kind of an eye-opening experience for us and a big turning point. And we just decided, hey, we really want to have a home of honor. We want to honor each other, and we want our home to be one that honors God in the process. And so it was a big turning point. I think we we made a big pivot of learning how to listen to each other, put each other first, and care for each other and value each other. And it was a big turning point in our relationship. And so I've just found that as we continue to do that, man, our relationship grows stronger and deeper. And when we're not doing that as well, then that's when, times get difficult. But over the course of the year, decades that we've been together, we just found that as a real key principle. And we've got to share that with a lot of young couples. And so it's been a great learning, for us, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you want to add to that?
You go, Craig.
Anything?
Yes. No, it's all good.
All that.
Craig, when I think of the word honor, and this is a word that I use in my relationships, not just my spousal relationship, but my
Right.
relationships in general, is I tell myself that this person is a treasure.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
They have been gifted to me, and they are a precious, priceless treasure. And
Right.
even in the moments I don't like them,
right.
the love is so deep because they are a treasure, and I have to protect it and honor it, like you said. But
And
a treasure to me is something that, like, it holds such great value that if
Mhm.
you lost it, you would really not be in a good way. And
Yeah.
so it has gravity to me. That's my personal
yes.
heartfelt thing. That word and what it emotes, that it has deep gravity of treasuring your partner, treasuring your parents, treasuring your children, treasuring your friends.
Right.
And
And kind of the longer you live, you realize that, man, these relationships really are the most treasured thing that you have.
Yes.
Your possessions and things come and go, but the things that really matter in life are the relationships that you have. And I think any couple, us included, when we don't act with that honor, we don't, recognize the value and the treasure that you have in that person, that's when things become really difficult. But when you remind yourself of that and pray, Lord, help me to treat them, see them in the way that they really are, then that spark comes back, And so anyway, it's perfect the way you said that.
yeah, on our dying beds, we don't think about our positions and our jobs. We're thinking about the love that we had in our lives, our relationships.
That's right.
Love is should be the thing that everybody focuses on and makes a priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Rance?
You're gonna make me follow that.
Yes, sir.
That was
Well,
good.
that
You got it.
what they've said, I mean, that's exactly it. But just to add on top of that, I guess would be respect and trust between the two of us. I trust her and she trusts me, but the communication part as well. But and it wasn't that way when we first got married. I didn't put her first, and it was kind of hard. But over the years, I've learned to do that. And one thing that makes me think of that is, God says that or when Jesus was here, he says, "I'm not here to be served. I'm here to serve." And that's the way I try to treat her is, what does she need? What can I do to take care of her? What can I do to help her? And the more I do that, the more our relationship grows, but then also the more I see of where I am in the grand scheme of thing. And it's not always about me. And that's where, when we first got married, I had a lot of problem with that because it's the way I grew up. It was me or us, the boys. And it's not a good, healthy relationship in my mind, for me anyway. So I had to change, and I think that helped a lot. And like you said, that says, the love Christ with love God with all your heart and all your mind and your soul. And the second commandment is just as equally important, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I mean, I can't get any more neighbor than this right here. Living in my
Okay,
backyard
brother.
here, so
You said a stack of it.
it's love and respect. So it's what everybody here said, though.
Vic, you want to add anything?
Well, it's like when we first moved back, we did everything together, and, being back into a small town and, where the guys just hung out all the time, they quite didn't understand why, Russell was always hanging around with me, but, he respects me and I respect him. He's our best, he's my best friend. And when you put each other first and then you have God in your life, it changes
It
things.
puts things in perspective,
It does.
in the right perspective.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about romance. Who's the most romantic? I'll start with you, Horanth. Who's the most romantic, and what is she, or what did she or he do? that you love about his or her romance. All right, Vicky, you're pointing at yourself.
Oh gosh. Well, I just tried to make him happy, do little things like little notes in his lunchbox when he was working and probably really corny things, but that's it.
Well,
Russell, yeah.
she likes flowers and I mean, date night, stuff like that for me. All right, I'll go put a steak on the grill. That's good for me, but her, she needs a little more and I don't do very good at it sometimes, but I do.
Well, here's a question for you, Russell. Whenever you find a note, how does it make you feel?
Well, it made me feel good because it made me understand that she's thinking about me, and that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. That I have put her before myself, and she's always putting herself before me, and I wasn't that way to start out with. So,
But going back, he was really that way too, because when we were dating, we'd always write love letters to each other. And
yeah.
even when you're off at college, you would write me and I'd write you and stuff. So,
But when I put the ring on it, it changed. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't need to write letters anymore. But no, it makes you feel appreciated, and so
I'm glad
I
you come to your senses.
well,
He does
yeah.
have his moments. He's really good. I'm glad I got him.
I bought her flowers in the last probably 6 or 7 years more than I have the
Mhm.
20 something before. So I'm trying, but I can always do better. But we always
Yeah.
can.
Sure,
So
sure.
So the note that she gives you, it's not like a grocery list or anything like that, is it?
That's a good idea.
no,
Love you, baby.
it was always appreciated.
Craig, Liz?
Always been the romantic one in our relationship. I am kind of the pragmatic, like get it done, task oriented, let's go. Yeah, just do what's in front of you. So I have to work really hard at, just stopping and being very loving and caring, but he has always been the one that's been the romance guy. But it's worked.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
worked.
totally.
Well, give us an example of how of his romance.
Oh,
Oh my
he
gosh.
plans date nights and flowers and yeah, we went out on our date night tonight. Actually, we went early so we could do this podcast because we go the night before Valentine's always. We have always done that. We've never gone on Valentine's night. But when our daughter had her babies, we wanted their relationship to be just fostered and loved. And so we said, when you have kids, we will keep your kids on Valentine's night. We will pay for your dinner out. We will send y'all.
Did we really say we'd pay for their dinner?
We did. We
Okay.
paid for it already.
All right.
So we paid for their dinner tomorrow night. We're going to keep their kids and put them down because we want their love to be like what we have, how we have loved each other.
Yeah.
And we just want our girls to experience the kind of love that we share between the two of us. So we're going to keep our grandkids tomorrow night, but Craig planned our dinner tonight. He gave me everything I wanted, which was
There you go. That's how you make it
Yeah.
last right there. Whatever you want.
Yeah. He gave me some jewelry that I wanted, and he took me to a place I wanted to eat, and so yeah.
Yep.
So
But
where did you
always
guys
the
go?
planner. I am not the planner. I'm just the one that says, this is what I want to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and he's the one that carries it out. So
Where'd you guys go?
Went to a little Thai place here in
Yeah.
Colleyville. It's called Napa. It's really, really nice.
amazing.
Food's really good.
Yeah,
We haven't been there in a while. Actually, it's been several years since we've been there.
Yeah.
But it was great.
really good.
Cool.
It was great.
Okay. All right, Hunt.
I think
Go
from
ahead.
a romance standpoint, it's just planning ahead, trying to make special days special is a big part of it. You know, what are the big special days? I had to ask Liz, okay, what are the big days that are
Yeah.
big to you? You know,
Yeah.
we want to blow those out, you know, and then just regularly keeping date nights and times together a priority. I think that's always been a consistent thing
Yeah.
throughout the years.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You guys are up, Hunts.
I think starting out, he was definitely, I think, more romantic. He would always do things like when we were dating, I don't know, seemed like it's more romantic then. And then,
How was he romantic though? But how was he romantic?
like, just always writing sweet notes, would drop me a poem, flowers. Just that. I remember in high school, I had typing right before he did, so I would type him a note and give it to Miss Bell to give to him. And just
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like leaving each other notes in our cars. Like when he would be at work at him system, I'd leave him a note and he would. But and then now we just, when we started out, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, and I would always tell him, don't waste money on flowers because we don't have any money. So don't spend any money on flowers. So I was always telling them not to get me anything, that we would just celebrate. We didn't need anything. And so we haven't always been big gift givers like that. And so then when he does surprise me with flowers or with a gift, it's just really special because he knows I don't expect it. And I mean, we'll go out and eat and share, but we just don't always, we're not big at getting a lot of gifts for each other, like at Valentine's or even our anniversary. So then when he does that, it's really special. And so every once in a while he'll do something just to surprise me.
I like the spontaneity. I like to give flowers when you're not supposed to give flowers. Just
Exactly.
on a random day.
Yeah.
So I've just always been spontaneity is my deal. I just you know, she'll come in and she's tired from work, and I'm like, oh, by the way, we're going out to eat. By the way, we're going to go do something, and it's, you know, and as we got older and as our kids got older, it's kind of been kind of fun to show that side to them and like let them go with us and stuff. Because I always did that with my daughter. We had daddy-daughter dates and, you know, so all of those kind of fun things. But now that they're older and they're both married, they see a lot of that. And I just wanted them to see how we act when we're around each other. And I think that's kind of romantic because they get to see the side of us that, you know, grown-up side instead of just the kid fun side.
Oh, that's a really good segue to a question that I just thought of that's not on the list we sent y'all. Now that y'all are empty nesters, do you feel like you have kind of reclaimed an old part of your romance or your relationship? Being, you know, you started out just the two of you, and now you're back to just the two of you. And anybody can answer.
I think so, a little bit. You know, there's times where we both go, hey, let's go out and eat. Let's not invite the kids this time. You know, our kids live here in the same town, and now, well, Cameron and Carly moved to Plainview, but you know, they're close enough that they can come over anytime, and you know, it's a little bit different. You know, it's just me and her, and that's kind of neat again to just be the two of us.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think just the example to your kids throughout their growing up years that your relationship is the number one priority. It's not your relationship with them, but mom and dad love each other. We're going to spend time together. And now that our kids are grown and have their own lives, I mean, they really respect our relationship. They love how I think we have shared an example of just our love for each other is the most important. And if we don't love each other, then it's hard for us to love them. And so I think that's been a huge part. I mean, all throughout our kids growing up, we would go on date nights and we would say, it's mom and dad's time, you know, to just be together and to love each other. And that makes it so important for you later on. And now we're showing our grandkids and our adult children how important it is to just establish that relationship. Did we always do it perfect and right? And could we always go every time? No, but just showing that we love each other more than anything else, I think has been a huge example to our kids. And I'm so thankful for that. Really am.
I love
So-
hearing that. I've always told people your spouse comes first.
Yes.
Your children leave you. They're not yours to
That's
keep.
right.
You
That's
are
right.
there. They're gifted to you and they're
Yes,
entrusted to you, but they are not yours.
that's right.
But your spouse is yours
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Yes.
eternity. So it's got to be the priority.
That's right.
Yeah,
Well,
you
you're
don't want
tired
them to stay with you forever. You know,
No.
you want them to. You want them to
No, well, the reason I asked that, okay, I have never had children, and my sister and I are very close, and she and her husband are empty nesters. Their boys are, I think, 23 and 28, and I observed firsthand a really big shift in their relationship. And my sister's closer to well, she's kind of in between our ages. Anyway, it was like all of a sudden they were like tech students again. I mean, that was my perception. It's like they had moved back to Lubbock. My sister was the assistant superintendent there, and they were like living like teenagers again. And it's kind of been fun to watch them be empty nesters and how their relationship actually got a lot better. It's like one level of stress was removed from their lives. And it was fun to witness that. That's why I asked that question, if your relationship shifted after your kids left.
Oh, yeah.
Well, your focus is off your kids now. You know, if you raise them right, or at least for us, if you raised them right and you send them out the door, now they're on their own. Now you can refocus our relationship again that we've kind of put on hold because our kids came before, not before us, but the growth for them came before our growth
Yes.
as far as the relationship goes, or maybe it's put on hold a little bit. But at least I felt that way when our kids finally left. And you know, you want the best for them, and you love them to death. But you know, now we can rekindle our relationship again, back kind of like it was when we first got married. So
Mhm.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So do y'all have any Valentine traditions? Russell?
Not really.
no,
No?
no. We usually go out and eat. That's about
Yeah.
it. A dinner, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
usually
that's a
what we do.
tradition.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite restaurant in Plainview? I guess you'll say Lal's.
Lubbock.
Yeah.
Lubbock.
Hey, we're getting a Chick-fil-A finally.
And a
Oh,
Whataburger.
hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
that's
right.
date night right there,
That's big
baby.
time.
We're moving up.
I remember when Chili's came in the first time, and
Oh,
that was
yeah.
and McDonald's was a
Oh,
big
I
deal.
remember when McDonald's came.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was a big
Yeah.
deal.
The big deal.
Plainview is growing though, so
It's getting a little better,
Yeah, it
but
is.
slowly.
Sharon and Rodney, do y'all have a Valentine's tradition? Since y'all don't do gifts, is there something that you typically do?
We don't ever have any plans for anything.
That's
Neither,
fine.
we kind of just roll with the flow and say, hey, what do you want to do? And we don't usually have a lot of plans. We just kind of just see how the day's going and pick a place to eat, which takes a while. It usually takes longer to decide where to eat than it does to eat. But anyway, and then sometimes we'll go to Las Brisas. I mean, we'll make plans every once in a while and go somewhere, but we actually haven't really been talked about.
We usually try to do that on our anniversary. That's
Yeah.
try to do something big. But I've always been my family's always been big for Christmas. So I mean, I start Christmas in like 3 more days. So I love Christmas, and so we try to do big things at Christmas, and it's and that's right around our anniversary as well. So it's always been kind of a fun thing for us to plan around Christmas. But yeah, Valentine's, we just kind of play it by ear.
I do have one good memory I have a lot of good memories Valentine's, but one that stands out when we were living in Lockney, working at the hospital there. And then he was in a barbershop quartet with these guys from Plainview. And so then they called me to go out to the lobby. And so they showed up and they sang a song to me. And that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. So that was sweet.
You could
That
sing,
was
Rodney,
fast.
huh?
That was a long time ago. Yeah. He could.
Give us a couple of
Yeah.
bars here, Rodney.
Oh, man. No. We only have one microphone here. We might break that.
That's
He's the
amazing.
singer. He sings like a canary. I sing like a turkey.
Did you
No,
cry?
that was a lot of
Mary?
fun.
What?
Did you cry?
I probably did. It was really sweet. I did. I think I probably did.
Yeah, I would have cried.
Mhm. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Those guys were really great guys. They, we had we had the little hats and the whole smear. It was pretty. It was a lot
That's
of
all.
fun.
Right.
Craig and Liz?
Yeah, I don't think we have any Valentine's Day traditions other than
No.
we do it the day before, so we can send our kids on their Valentine's thing. So and we grandparent on that time, but
do.
but we have done Valentine's Day very consistently over the years because one time we were early married and we were just kind of having this conversation, and I said, so she asked me, she said, what are your favorite holidays? Or, like if you ranked them, how would they be? And I'm like, well, Christmas has got to be first because Jesus, right? So it's got to be Christmas. And then I guess, probably Thanksgiving after that because, you eat a lot and you got football, and then I don't know, maybe Halloween, and then maybe St. Patrick's Day. And so I start going through all these long, and she gets so upset. And I'm like, why are you upset about? You asked me how I ranked them, and now you're mad. And she goes, you didn't put Valentine's Day up there. I'm like, okay, well, I can move it up, So I've tried to move it up, make it a little bit more important than behind St. Patrick's Day.
That's right. That's right. So
Well,
it
guys,
has gone up through
Yeah,
years.
it has definitely gone up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So this is a question only for the guys. Do you feel pressured by Valentine's Day? Not by your spouse, just the pressure that is Valentine's Day. And Craig, I'm gonna start with you.
And let's go back like the old, like back in high school, and when you're first courting each other, like the first few years. Let's not talk about now. Let's talk about back then when
Yeah,
you guys were starting out dating.
Oh yeah, I don't remember really. I don't think I did. I don't ever think I felt pressured by it. I still don't. What's really funny is I used to try to get buy a Valentine's Day card at least a couple of days early because I hated the kind of the wall of shame where all the guys stood there looking at the picked over cards, at the grocery store or whatever, and you're like, okay, we all are just picking over these last minute, and so I didn't ever want to be that guy. So I tried to get it a little early, but as far as pressure, no, I don't really feel that.
No.
Rodney?
Not really. Not in the first, I always want to make a good impression. So the card was really important. Like you said, I always pick it out, several days early.
There you go.
Sometimes I'd even pick out two, and then I would contemplate for a day or two which one I'm going to give her. But no, I never really felt a lot of pressure. I tell you, I felt more pressure at homecoming. It's like, yeah, you got to make an impression at homecoming, So, but no, I'm not really too much at Valentine's. I guess because it was just we've always just been kind of spontaneity is kind of our thing. So,
Russell?
Same for me. Worst part is just picking out the card, like you said, and I hated doing that. I hated going to get a card because I didn't like any of them, and so, and actually, last few years I've been writing my own for her. So
Look
just
at you,
because,
romantic.
yeah, I'd rather do that than go get a
Yeah.
card from Hallmark. I never did like that. So
And it was good. I mean, I cried. after I read it. So
You
Oh,
are romantic, Russell.
Yeah,
After
I'm
all,
working on
yeah.
it.
look at you.
Yes,
it's the memory that we can't remember.
that's right.
Was bass in the writing fishing? No. What type of lure?
Oh,
Well,
You reeled me in, you really
yeah,
set the hook,
exactly.
something like that.
I have
I
bought a
wasn't a
fishing pole
you were
before.
not a catch release. You were a keeper.
Hey, we
I'm
got all
sure
these ideas
I'm
for you,
sure that
Russell.
was in there somewhere.
There you go, man. For next year. So what I want to ask, and I'm going to start with Sharon. Have you guys ever shared a high school story to your kids and say, "What? Like you Dallas went to a lot of concerts. I mean, a lot of concerts. I mean, I went to a bunch, and I'm like, wow, they went to the same ones I went. Does your kids know how many concerts you went in high school?
Oh yeah, we talk about that. And our both of our kids like music too. They grew up listening to classic rock, and then Cameron, I think, kind of got tired of it after a while, and Cammy got more into alt rock. But and in fact, I took our daughter to concerts. That was one thing we did when she was in high school. But yeah, we've talked to them about all of that and shared stories with them. And
I took her to a concert and she got up on stage and crowd surfed. I've got video of it.
so
When she's crowd surfing, I'm like, "Got a girl." So we encourage that. We both into music, and I think both of our kids are just like, they know all the hard rock music, they know all the classic rock, they know all the new stuff, and then they know all the Christian stuff because, like I said, we drug them everywhere. So they went to every Christian concert there was that we could go to, and they just, they both were in the band, they both love music, and just, they're, I think it's a part of them. So it was kind of a part of us.
we've shared most of the stories. We haven't shared them all, but there's some stories we won't share.
Oh, Craig and Liz.
Oh gosh, our kids
I mean,
love,
you were a cheerleader, and Craig's a football player. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, our oldest daughter lives in New York. She's a musical theater performer. She owns her own production company. So she is very um versed in the arts and loves it. Our youngest daughter, they love music, and I mean, that's just always been a part of our life. I mean, we love everything from rock to classic to Christian. I mean, we have everything. Our grandkids are very accustomed to music. We have it playing in our house all the time. We love it. We go to concerts. We love music and dancing and playing around here. So, yeah.
And we
I
told
mean,
them some stories of the
Yeah.
high school.
you were a
Yeah.
thespian, weren't you,
Nobody really
Craig?
wants to hear all those stories.
Yeah,
Their
yeah, of
kids
course.
are-
But you were. Did they know you were a thespian? I guess that's.
yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
tell me the plays you're in?
I tell my
some of the.
oldest daughter, I said, this is where you get it. You're getting this, you're getting it from my line right
Oh
there.
my.
But I don't know that she really gives me any credit for
She
that.
doesn't. No.
Drama.
Hey, I can still break out into a couple of lines from King Arthur every once in a while. I can pop that out, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I I remember in one of the annuals there was a Winnie the Pooh production. And I think
Oh,
Mo was either I
yeah,
think Mo might have been Pooh.
yeah. He's been a great poo. I mean, yeah, can't mess up poo.
And were you in that production?
Oh, I don't remember.
don't think so.
We had several small little productions like
Yeah.
that. But I remember when we did uh yeah, it was King Arthur and Lancelot and Camelot, that production. And it was like the band played the music and the actors were from the theater class and the choir sang that. Remember, it was like a multi
Arts
art
did
thing.
the
Yeah, that's
production.
right. The art did all the backdrops, and a lot of the football players were like soldiers. And the best part scene was like when they had a fight scene, and they're like tackling each other. And I'm like, and I knew they were afraid they were going to tear the whole stage down. So that was hilarious. That was great.
Gosh.
Arance?
Mm. Well, we're pretty boring. We just went fishing all the time.
There you
Just
go.
because the age difference.
We did a lot of fishing, but
Yeah.
that was probably it. We had we went camping stuff.
Mhm.
Our first camping trip she didn't like very well, so it was sleeping in the back of a pickup. She didn't like that, so we didn't have enough money to have a camper or tent or anything. So just we did a lot of fishing, a lot on the lake though. Our
Yeah.
kids grew up on the lake, boats, inner tubes. We had jet skis, four-wheelers. I mean,
Mhm.
we
We did a
played,
lot of playing with
we
our
did a lot of,
kids.
I know, but
yeah,
you
we did
were
a
a
lot of playing with
twirler.
them.
Did you
That's-
tell the girls you were a twirler? Any of
They're
them
like,
become? Yeah.
they're both like, what? What's that?
Are you
Because,
serious?
yeah,
What's that?
because they went to Northwest, they're at Justin in high school, so they didn't have much of that growing up. But, they were, the eldest one was a athletic, trainer, and then our youngest one played volleyball from middle school on up to college. So she did a club ball, so that was our life
Yeah.
with our kids.
Did they ever ask you about stories when you were in high school?
Oh, yeah, some, but about
Yeah.
men, I guess their dad dating, and had to tell him about the one time his ex-girlfriend came over to my parents' house and
Oof.
was giving back all of Russell's stuff, and it was really funny. My parents were dying laughing.
Ooh, let's hear
Yes.
more about that.
Yeah.
Russell's like,
I think he was dating somebody at the time, and then they went down to the Florida at Christmas with his family, and I think she gave him an ultimatum, like, if you go, we're done, or whatever. So when he came back, he called me right away. And
They're
so he
done.
yeah, so he came over, and I guess she found out, and she brought him all his stuff at my parents' house. So it was quite comical. My parents were dying laughing. So, because they could hear her screaming at him outside. So
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
we never did see his senior ring after that. So
Now, have you seen her since? No, like any reunions or anything?
No.
Okay, that's good.
no.
That's good. Now, Russell, you played football too, didn't you? And baseball?
Well, I played more baseball
Yeah.
and I played on a junior high team. I wasn't good enough to play on the varsity, and I didn't play. Let's see, I didn't play my junior or senior year in football, and then I played baseball through my. I didn't play my senior year there either. I just played up through my junior year.
And you said you were an FFA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
FAA.
Hey, my bad. And then
Yeah.
were you on the rodeo or no? The rodeo club
No,
or team? Okay.
no.
Oh,
I was with the FAA. I was air traffic controller for 20 something years,
oh wow. Okay.
26, 27 years.
They're in Plainview
No,
No,
or
no,
I was
yeah.
Albuquerque. Well, I was in
Oh,
Albuquerque for eight
okay.
years, and then
Okay.
we moved to Fort Worth in '97. So
Were you there during 911, if I may ask?
was-
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I was there and actually working airplanes at the time that happened.
I worked.
Wow.
I had a long career at Southwest Airlines, and I was living in Baltimore at 9/11. I had just graduated a class of flight attendants
Hmm.
that day. So yeah, it was crazy times. Yeah.
Was
Actually, Craig was on an airplane on 9/11 in the air the day that all of that went down.
Yeah.
So
Where were you? I
Yeah,
mean,
I was flying to Chicago, but they grounded Russell. You remember they grounded all the air traffic, and so we grounded in St. Louis. And when we got on the ground, you could just see planes everywhere, and we were one of the last ones to get off the plane. And when we got off, there was a reporter that ran up to us and said, "You're one of the last to get off. Do you know what happened?" And it was just kind of pandemonium. And people were trying to get rental cars, and there was all this price gouging happening. I mean, it was crazy. We ended up finding one rental vehicle that was not at the airport, but on the inside of town. We took a cab out to it and then drove from St. Louis to Chicago. And it was, it was really surreal, really.
It was.
Sure.
I was working with one guy and I told him, I said, you got to get on the ground. I said, I don't know what to tell you, but this is orders from the president that you've got to get on the ground now. And he didn't like it, but he understood. So it
And
was.
which airport were you at that time?
I was at Fort Worth Center, so I wasn't at an
Okay.
airport. I was at the regional controller.
Okay.
But we just launched all the guys out of DFW, and if you were going to Chicago, you were probably one of them. We were one of the last facilities to get word that they weren't going to take anymore. And so y'all probably came out because you would have gone through my area at the time because that's Chicago goes that way. So
Yeah.
you came through our area, but you got through before we got them all shut off.
Yeah, it was such a strange thing, but yeah, everybody was stuck there. The airports were crazy because all these people were jammed in there, and yeah, it was a wild time.
How long did it take to get your luggage? Can imagine all those planes there with.
We were traveling pretty light. I was going on a business trip, and I don't remember hanging around a lot for luggage. I think we probably just had a
Carry on.
carry on, and
Okay.
which was great. And then yeah, we found that one rental car, and then we drove on into Chicago from there. But I just remember going through downtown Chicago, and all these things, all these roads are marked, blocked off, and there are police and military and helicopters everywhere. I think they were concerned that, the Sears Tower would probably be another target. So it was crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
We
Well,
lived in Flower Mound at the time, and when the airplanes I guess we were right on the landing,
On the final approach.
and just to not hear that anymore, it's just eerie silent when they got them all down. It's just weird.
That is
Days.
wild.
and that was worldwide, I believe, wasn't it?
Mhm.
I don't know about worldwide, but I do know that it was, the United States. We had a lot of
For sure. Right.
aircraft coming from overseas that they turned around and sent other places, other countries.
Yeah.
So if they weren't vetted in,
Yeah, the shutdown was only in the U.S., but as you know, working with the FAA, I mean, that incident changed the scope of the airline industry permanently. I mean,
It
it's not the same
sure
after
did.
a lot
That's-
more
yeah.
scrutiny and regulations. It made not working for an airline fun. I retired in 2005 as a result.
Yeah.
I had to walk away after 18 years. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
The stress was too much.
That was tough. Well, let's go back. Let's go deeper into high
To
school.
high school.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go deeper into high school. All right. Let's talk about any what are we going to talk about high school?
My memory doesn't
we-
go back that far.
yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. I mean, because you had the again, Craig and Liz. I mentioned it's a full, football player and the cheerleader. What else? I mean, what kind of student were you besides an athlete and a cheerleader? What other? If people can say, Craig was what?
Oh, I don't know. Trouble. Well, we were involved in choir together. We did that.
Mhm.
You and I were in choir together,
Mhm.
and so that was fun. And just some of those productions that we did. I remember that was a pretty tight group, and we had a few football players that were in there, and so when we carried our helmets on game day, everybody would stick their helmets in a row in there. That was pretty cool. We actually went back on our reunion. And that's all different now. It's not configured the same way. So, but those were great memories for sure. Yeah.
I think I was a mediocre student. I wasn't that great academically. And that's kind of always been a regret for me, I think. But I think I look fondly on my high school days. Of course, you're a high school student, so there's always things you want to change. And I'm such a different person than I was then. I mean, I didn't know the Lord then.
Yeah.
So that's totally different than who I am now. But I think I just looked at our high school and our people that we loved and we were around, and I don't see the lines drawn then that are drawn now. And I just love that about our community and who we were. I mean, I don't think we drew the same lines that are drawn today for high school kids. I mean, I think it's just so sad that they can't be a community like we were. And I know that that's then and there's now, but our community was just, I mean, we loved everyone, we accepted everyone. I just don't think there's those same boundaries that are drawn today that were drawn then at all. So I'm very thankful for where I grew up and
Mhm.
how I grew up
Yeah.
and how I've changed and become who I am today. So
Cool. Hunts.
What was the
Besides
question?
bank geeks, besides being bank geeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were both in band and stage band, and you know, I hung out more with her class than I did with my class. So I knew a lot more of her age kids, but I was always accepted at that. It was never a big deal. I had a lot of friends from, which I guess from 84 and 85. But yeah, my dad was like, son, thou shalt go to work. And so I worked. I worked full-time job, but in high school, M system. I was a night stalker. So I stocked groceries at night and went to school during the day. But that was just what we did back then. Like you said, that was kids learned a little different ways of doing things. I was never just an A student. But I made decent enough grades to get by. I guess I graduated. So, but it was much later in life when I took my academic a little more seriously. I went to nursing school and medic school and firefighter school, and like I didn't learn that lesson until way after high school. But I wish, kind of like you, I wish Liz, I wished I had paid a little more attention to my studies when I was in high school. But I don't regret it. I lived through it.
I guess with
Sharon.
me, yeah, mostly band, and then I worked too, and then I was in journalism some, and I did okay in school, but I could have done better like everybody. I regret not not putting forth the effort as much as I could have in some things, but I'm kind of like Liz. I liked high school. I had fond memories of high school, and I liked how you could be friends. I could be friends with people in Michelle's class, Michael and Lisa in y'all's class, and then and some in Rodney's, or and I guess through band and even going to concerts or stuff like that. Kind of having friends in different age groups, um, and then even when I played basketball for several years, just having friends in all different um, areas, and we just all hung out together, and we didn't care where anybody lived. We didn't care. We just enjoyed hanging out, and I think those were good times too. I think I enjoyed growing up in Plainview, and um, it was a good place.
Wait, you played basketball?
I
To
did
win.
in junior high in my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then I started my freshman year, I started working out. I got moved up to I guess it was symphonic band then, the top band. I don't remember what it's called. So then I had to work out with the varsity and JV. And so I was the only freshman in there. And so it was a lot of work. And I just decided I just was lazy, I guess, and decided I didn't want to work that hard. So I quit basketball after that. And then that was one thing I always regretted too, because I really loved playing basketball, and almost got back into it my sophomore year because I really missed it, but I decided not to. But yeah.
There was a lot of stuff to do when we were in high school. I mean, there was so many options. You got to do lots of different things. And today, I think a lot of those options for kids are taken away. I don't think there's as many options as there used to be, unless you're in a great big school. So,
Well, it seems like nowadays, like if you're gonna play basketball, you play year round. There's so much, it seems like it's so much more competitive now than it was, especially at the bigger schools. It is.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
People tend to specialize a lot now. You
Yeah.
kind of get locked into one thing instead of being able to try a lot of different things. And
Yeah.
that's what I really loved about high schools. I could do a lot.
Find out what you like.
Oh yeah, because now it's expensive.
Mhm.
I mean, it's expensive to be in those. Like my two daughters, they play club volleyball. I
Yeah.
mean, they play for their school, but they also play club. And my ex-wife keeps saying, more money, more money. Okay. I mean, it's expensive. The uniforms, the out of town, the hotels. I mean, it gets pricey.
Well,
Especially if you want to go with
summer
them.
league baseball.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
Well, they,
the thing now is that all the school sports have also turned into club sports.
Yeah.
And like you said, Craig, you specialize in one thing, and once you're done with school, you're playing your club sport, and that's where the expense comes.
Yeah.
And it becomes a year-round commitment, and it's hard. It's hard on parents, I think.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
well,
it's
if you want
on
to play
kids.
college, a lot of the college are requiring that you play the club ball. I know when my daughter went to the college, they told her, said, we expect you to play club ball your senior year. And we fought that. And luckily they let her play college ball because she didn't want to play club ball her last year. She wanted to take a half a season off.
They're just burned out because she's played
Yeah.
7th grade all through year round.
But it's
So she was
expensive.
exhausted. But it was because one of us felt like we needed to go watch her.
For
Mhm.
I
sure.
wanted to go all the time, but
Yeah.
I wish our kids could have grown up in our era.
Mhm.
Fun, and you got along with everybody, and it was just family coming from
Well,
a
and our
small
kids
town.
went to school in Lockney. We had moved to Lockney because we were both working at the hospital there. And they're both very glad they grew up there because it was a lot like how we grew up, and really kids could play multiple sports. They they didn't practice on Wednesdays. They let them all out early so they could go to youth group.
Yes.
It was just, they really supported all the different activities that the kids were in. And so they've talked about that now, that when they have kids, they don't want their kids to be in a big school because they went to a small school. But it reminded me a lot in some ways of Plainview, only a lot smaller.
Well, the
Karen
kids
and
nowadays-
Rodney,
Do I?
I had your son at PT the other day, Cameron,
Oh, really? Yeah.
Okay.
really
That's fun.
well-rounded young man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I know you're very
Because
proud
of
of
his
him.
mom.
No, we're proud of him. And he said y'all go to church together.
Yes.
We
we're
told him
same
the other day
Sunday
we
school
were going
class.
to do this, and they were like, "You're getting Dad to do that?" He's getting us. Yeah, he said he would, and anyway, but they said y'all went to church together.
Thank you for Valentine's gift. I agreed to do that.
Mhm.
The best.
Thank you
What
for the
about-
compliment. We're pretty
What
proud
about
of
you
Cameron.
guys? Haran, what about you, Russell? I mean, we knew
think I
that
was
Vicky
lucky.
was a twirler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky to graduate. I know I could have done better, but I sure didn't want to. I hated school. I enjoyed our class. I really think we had one of the best classes to go through Plainview High. I mean, right in that age group, the 80, maybe 83, but 84 and 85, that group just seemed to get along real well. But I had to work. And so, my dad owned his own business, and I helped, and I was expected to help. So I didn't get a lot of free time to do other things other than work. So I grew up knowing that, and that was it. So made it kind of hard for us,
But I mean, he knows a lot what to do and around the farming equipment and airplanes, and most people don't.
right.
So nowadays, don't even know how to change their own oil or if they have a problem.
Yeah.
True.
It's so true.
But made you the person that you are, your parents, the way they, raise you. And
Mhm.
so,
I agree. I was telling somebody last week that my dad did not let me drive off to college until I could open the hood, identify everything under the hood, what it did, what were the things that I could actually replace myself, how to change the tire, the oil, the spark plugs, filters. And I had to pass with an A before he let me drive away. He didn't want anybody taking advantage of me. So
Mhm.
I really appreciated that. At the time, I was like,
Yeah.
oh God. But, I thought that was later on, I really appreciated that gift.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know me and my dad butted heads quite a bit. He was pretty headstrong, but I look back on it now, and there was a reason for it, so I don't regret it.
Yeah.
That's what their age group did. They worked. They would get
Mhm.
out and they'd make a
Right.
living, and that was important to them. And it was important that they instilled that work ethic. You barely see work ethic in today's kids.
Oh
It's
God.
something you can't really teach. They just have to
No.
pay attention to it, I guess. But
We always respected the Horian work ethic and their family. I mean, we love them so much. So yeah,
No, thank you.
we're
We
a
didn't have a
product
choice.
of that. You're a product of that. So
I
yes.
told Russell this at our reunion, but I remember your dad taking me and a couple of guys up in his plane, and he put a pencil on the dashboard. He said, "Watch, I'm going to make this pencil float." And then he dove that plane down, and that thing floats down across. And I turned about 3 shades of green. I mean, I thought I was going to empty everything out. I mean, by the time I could not wait to get back on the ground, and he thought that was the funniest thing ever.
That's right.
my
Yeah.
dad always had a lot of respect for the Horans too. My dad was an aircraft mechanic out at Hutcherson's for 25 years, and
Yeah.
he always respected the Horans. They got a good business going on out there.
So you ever jump out of an airplane, Russell?
Why? It's not on fire. I'm not jumping out.
Fly to the ground.
Ooh.
He's afraid of heights.
I don't like heights at all.
Well, you should do that pretty soon.
No.
Check it off your bucket list.
It is not on that bucket list.
It's
Let me
not
tell
on
you.
mine either. I
Just
don't
make sure your life insurance is paid for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm.
Well, guys, let's talk about teachers or coaches. Um, Russell, do you have a teacher that influenced you, or maybe didn't influence you?
Well, if I do, I don't remember. Like I said, I'm pretty lucky to just get through school. I wasn't a very good student. So
But is there a teacher that really made a lasting impact on you, or that helped you, or that you just really liked? Do
I
you
like
remember?
Miss Eversole.
yeah, Miss Eversole comes to mind. I had her and head coach Hill, which we got along real good till my senior year, and that's why I didn't play my last year in baseball. So those are two that come to my mind. I think most of them wanted me out of the class too. They just booted me up to the next grade,
Dang Haran,
I
get him
know.
out.
Yeah.
So you're borderline. No, let's go and pass him.
Right.
What about you, Vicky?
Well, Miss Eversole, really. I'd always sign my paper, Vicky Haran. She'd just laugh. But let's see. I remember Coach Tate. He was always real nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Kahn, I think, he was nice. And then all the band coach and OT Ryan. I really loved band. That was just family there. So that's it, really. Can't think
Cool.
of-
Craig?
Yeah, Dennis Tomlin was my position coach, and I really, really respect him. I've not seen him in a long time, and I think you had him on one of your early.
Yeah, him and Coach Selke. Yes.
But I'd love to reconnect with Coach Tomlin. He was just a great influence. I'll never forget one time I was I was a defensive back and some guy had run around the edge and I tried to jump for him and he did a little juke and went around me and I just face planted. And so we were watching film. That's back, when you had the reels and you're fed it through and so everybody watched film, and then everybody left. He said, "Etheridge, stay back, have a seat, cut the lights." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so he fed it up to this one spot and showed me jump and juke, and then I go flat on the ground, and he rewound it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he said, "Don't ever do that again." I'm like, "I got it, coach. I got it. I won't do that again." Uh, but I remember he had a great influence on me for sure.
Sure.
Well, he I think he's like a golf ambassador at the Tech Golf Course.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So if you're ever in that area, I mean, if you play
Yes.
golf,
Okay.
so
I will look him up. Yeah, we get to love it maybe once a year. But I will definitely look him up.
Well, we have his contact. We'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Awesome.
We know First Baptist Church is looking for a preacher. Just come on back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We can move on back to
Well, I
this.
know he did.
He knows.
Explain to you.
You know, but I just got to remind you.
Wow.
It was fun hanging out with you guys.
well,
Mm.
Russell will pick you up.
Hey,
Fly
There
day,
you go.
pick you up, and then
Pilot.
hey,
You
Pilot.
don't have to land, you can just jump out.
Yeah. Right.
yeah, you can
You
just
jump out and
parachute.
I'll mark
Doing
it off
that
my
much.
bucket list.
Good.
Liz,
About you,
I think our choir teacher, I don't know if y'all remember him, but his name was Mr. Lang,
Ron Lang, yeah.
Ron Lang. He
Yeah.
was a great influence on me. Just gave me an opportunity that I probably wouldn't have had otherwise. So yeah.
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 yeah. Andrew Dunlap and I used to play coach and him in racquetball quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we used to beat those old men pretty easily.
Yes.
Even though they were in their 20s, I know Coach was in his 20s. I don't know about
Yeah.
Mr. Lang.
Probably.
He probably was around there too.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hunts?
I guess for me, like Vicky said, OT and coach just from band. They just OT just always had a really big impact in my life. And my dad was real sick off and on when we were in high school, and so we would come in late sometimes in band and just going through stuff. And he was always really, really good, really cared about us, and just always thought a lot of him. And oh gosh, Miss Berry.
Mm.
I think I had her for computer science back when we didn't even know what computers were. And I don't know.
I always appreciated OT. He was really good to me. He had a lot of, you could go and talk to him, and he always had the right thing to say, and without saying, sometimes he didn't even have to say anything. You just could talk to him, and it was really neat. But you mentioned Miss Eversole. She pushed me. She pushed me to be better at what just at every turn, and I just despised that in high school. Then I got out of high school, and I was like, yeah, she was a pretty good teacher. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she could get out of me. But like I wasn't the best student at all. But you just back then it wasn't that important to me to just reading books was not my thing. I wanted to go do something else. Now I still don't read, but I read manuals. I can put a fire truck together, but I don't know nothing about Shakespeare.
Well,
What did
let's
y'all
keep
do
digging.
for fun on a Friday night?
Yeah, there you go.
This
Well, I'm pretty sure Rodney worked.
Well, Robert we know Rodney was at work, but did y'all go cruising up and down Fifth? Did you meet
Oh,
up
yeah.
one of the
yeah.
parking lots? What
We
did y'all do?
raced up and down Fifth. Remember?
No, not, we
Yeah.
do that all the time. We do that all the time. But yeah, cruising up and Fifth and just hanging out.
I mean, back then we had what was it? The fun
Family
station
Time
or the
Park
space
and then-
station?
Space
Space
station.
station. Yeah.
Park.
Space station, yeah.
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
PlayStation?
We go hang out there. It was, I knew life after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock because that's when I would get off work. So, she could stay out till midnight. So, I was always home by 12:04 because we lived pretty close together. My dad always said, I knew when you're coming home because I could hear the roar of your El Camino trying to get home before midnight, so. So we did a lot of fun stuff on Friday nights after hours because that's when I got off work. But,
Who'd you
it was-
guys hang out with? Like, who else? What other classmates?
Oh, you remember Martin Barrera and
Yeah, I just saw Martin a few weeks ago. So
yeah, he's doing really good. Eddie Ransom and John McPherson, they were all my age. Yeah,
And Carol Horn, Deanna.
Morgan, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of folks.
all right, Harans.
Well, I guess our dating, we kind of flew around. We went to San Antonio, and one of our dates, I flew her to Longview. We went out to eat Red Lobster there. We had Brent and Denise. We kind of hung around with them a little bit. Of course, it's kind of that's a whole nother story between he and I as far as our friendship, because we were roommates in college. But, we hung out with them, and I think we went to Colorado one time, and I don't know, just
Well, then we took
we
an air.
had access to it. So
Tell about the time we picked up an airplane or something and it was sort of on fire.
no, it wasn't on fire. It's when they had that satellite come through here.
Yeah.
We'd gone to Colorado, and coming home, we could see this big glow coming, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and like it headed right for us. I don't know which way to go. So we just kept trucking along, and the thing passed off our left side, and we were just north of Dalhart, and the thing landed somewhere up in Kansas. And when we got on the ground here, the police met us there and wanted to know if we were on fire. And I'm like, no. He said, well, there was a big ball of fire that went by, and we thought that was y'all. I said, I don't know what that was, but it was something big. But anyway, kind of find out it was a piece of a satellite that had come back into the atmosphere, and it trucked across here and went right by us and landed in Kansas. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God.
now we did have that one time we came back
Yeah.
from San Antonio, we had smoke in the cockpit, and it was like we had to drop a customer off, and so we kind of tootled around getting back, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and so it was real dark, and we started smelling smoke in the cockpit. So that was a pretty exciting night there. So shut everything off
Think
and
so.
keep going.
I was
You
like,
know.
let's land, let's land.
Yeah.
But I didn't have, I turned everything off, so I couldn't see. So, but it's something with the electrical in it, but we got back with that too. But that's what I guess that was kind of our dating. We did a lot of that just because that was what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'd gone to a flight school, and then when I moved back here to Plainview, I was a flight instructor here at the airport, and that's all I did was work and fly. So
You see any UFOs?
just that one.
I don't know
What
why
about you?
my mom let me go fly around with him. 'Cause
No
now the
doubt.
Haran's got 9 lives, so
No doubt.
No, I know. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, wow, your parents let you go with him? What's wrong with them?
I know that if somebody would ask my daughter to go flying, I'd be nope.
Nope.
Oh, you remember we had the daughters from Dr. Siegler on the show, and they said that the doctor would take them early in the morning, fly to Lubbock, eat breakfast, and then just fly back, and then to go to school. They did that almost like every day. So
Yeah, we
Okay.
flew the Garvishes around, and that's what we did a lot of that. Dr. Garvish's boy, he was my student. And he'd come out and let's say, let's go somewhere, pick something, let's go eat. And that's what we'd do. We'd fly and go eat. Sometimes she'd go, sometimes she wouldn't if she was working. Wasn't
What's
working.
the farthest trip you've flown?
I had to go to Reading, Pennsylvania one time. We had a guy buy an airplane here, and he wasn't certified in it insurance wise, so he had to have flight time. So one of the qualifications was he had to have so much flying time with an instructor. So I had to fly up to. That was part of the deal, is fly him to Reading, Pennsylvania, and then they put me on an airline and sent me home. That's probably
You
the
didn't fly.
furthest.
You didn't fly that plane? Just kidding. All right, Craig and Liz, what did you guys do on Friday or Saturday nights?
We go to Lubbock. We go
Yeah,
to Lubbock.
we went to Lubbock a lot. We cruised Fifth, went to Pizza Inn. Y'all remember Pizza Inn?
Oh yeah.
Love Pizza Inn.
That's
Yeah.
true.
We did a lot of that.
Yeah.
So
Our first date, official date, was we went to Lubbock and we went to this place called Peppers. Is that
Yeah.
what it's called?
Yep.
I don't know if it's
Oh, I remember Peppers.
yeah.
not around anymore, but
Off
it
of
wasn't far
19th.
from, it wasn't far from Tech, wasn't it?
No.
It was
no.
off of 19th, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That was our first official date.
Yes.
So
So,
yeah, I don't know what's there now. It may not be anything there
Yeah.
now.
I hate to say this, but they had a commode drink. I think it says I got pottied at Peppers. So
We did not get that on our
Not
first
get
date.
the
You know,
commode drink.
thought that would be a little
No.
not a good first impression.
No.
I was drinking out of a toilet, right? So we're almost at the end, but I want to get when you get to ask the last few. So Craig, I'm gonna start with you. Licks. Did you receive any? And if you did, your first ones, why did you receive licks and from whom?
Oh yeah, I received several of them, and almost every time I got them just for acting up in class or or doing something dumb or talking. And I remember we were in middle school, and forget her name, Beverly something Garms maybe was her name.
Maybe.
She was a choir teacher, and I was back there with Russell Ortiz. He and I were buddies, and we were talking, and he would never get in trouble. I'd always get in trouble. And as she said out in the hallway, and everybody's like, "Oh, So I went out in the hallway. She brought her paddle, and she was
9 months.
yeah,
pregnant.
she was like major pregnant. I mean, like huge. And I knew her from church, and I'm like, so we get out there, and she said, "Now, I can't have you talking like this in class, and I'm gonna have to make an example of you. So grab your ankles." And my thought was, how hard can a pregnant woman hit? Right? I mean, this is gonna be easy. I mean, I'm gonna have to be fake crying when I go in back into the classroom. And so I bent over, grabbed my ankles, and I kind of looked to the side and I saw her rearing back like
With
this
her leg up.
with her leg up, and that baby weight was coming through. She lit me up harder than any coach I've ever been in my life. I mean, it was like crack, and everybody was like, "Oh,
Silent.
yeah." It was quiet. You don't get any of those anymore these days. These kids don't know what that's like.
Mhm.
That's right.
Oh yes, I had my share of licks on
I
occasion
never had a lick.
because you were nice. And
I-
you obeyed all the
was-
rules.
Okay, were you ever close, Liz? Like, were you
No,
given a
no.
choice?
Oh,
No.
sir. I was
Detention hall then.
I was like unhealthily
Obedient.
yes.
Obedient.
It was not okay, but no, I never had a lick.
And no
You're still a
detention
follower.
hall.
That's still a rule
I
breaker.
am still a rule follower. He is still a rule breaker, but managed.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right. I don't know about that.
Right. Mhm.
So I assume Haran's probably the same ship, same boat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You had
Who's-
one.
Oh,
Woo.
So
Been bad.
name
Thank
your
you, I was tardy.
give us the reason why you got it and who gave it
think
to
I
you,
was
like your first
tardy.
ones.
I think I was just tardy once or twice, so maybe.
Why were you tardy?
I don't
Can
remember.
you remember?
No,
Who gave it
it
to
was
you?
just a pop.
I'm sure it was a little easier than what Craig got.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
it wasn't that
sure.
hard.
For sure. For sure.
Who gave you the lick?
I want to say Coach Casey did, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Russell?
Gave looks for Tardy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I got several from McBee.
Ouch.
Ah,
He was little, but he had a hard punch.
yes, he did.
Yeah, and I got one from the shop teacher Griffin in
Oh.
that 7th grade.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't know. I got a few more in there somewhere, but the ones that stand out was McBee's.
I bet.
Yeah.
What do you remember what you did? Because if you got licks from McBee, you had done something really bad.
Well, there was a couple. One of them I remember we were horsing around, and I forget the guy's name, but I threw him up against the door. We were just playing though, and his head hit the window and it broke.
Oh,
And I got licks for that. McBee didn't like us goofing off, and of course we broke something, so that was that. But the other is acting up in class mostly.
Okay.
A lot of people
Well,
don't know that Mr. McGee played tennis, so he had quite a swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like those too well.
a pretty good forehand, huh?
No,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think
Sharon,
Griffin, we had he let us make paddles, and so but if you made one, he had to use it on you first. And
oh,
so I made a
what?
paddle, and that was part of the deal. Was
That was the
okay.
initiation, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
Hell.
So I got one from him with my paddle that I made.
I would have made a little bitty.
Yeah, make a little bitty paddle.
This was a big one, and I drilled holes in it so it wouldn't catch as much air. It worked real good. Yeah.
Did you remember if you named it?
No, I didn't name it, I don't think.
So what about you,
Whistle
Sharon? I
through the
guess
air.
OT, Sharon. If I
Well,
remember.
not OT, it was coach, but I started early. So it's like I got licks. I started in 1st grade and I got licks like every other year, like 1st grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade. I don't know about
Hey.
that. I got licks in 8th grade and my freshman year, and then coach. I think that was my junior or senior year. I can't remember.
And that's when you and Carol went upstairs and you guys hid,
We
I
all
guess.
went, yeah, we all went upstairs to play a joke on him, and he wasn't in the mood to joke, so we got in trouble.
It was funny because he got mad at us if we were ever late. Well, he was late, so we were hiding from him. And we all came down, and Sharon was kind of standing there, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna everybody line up." And we were all like, he was mad. And she's like, "I gotta go to class." And she went first, and man, he lit her up. And the rest of us like, we ain't doing it. Yeah, he lit her up.
Sharon, I think you've got the record for everybody that's been on this show of lit.
No.
Talking and
Yeah.
talking and goofing off like crazy.
There's a
And I guess
couple
I
of
just-
other girls. Shawnee Trimble, she said she got 27 her senior year, and then there's another one that got a lot. I forgot who it was. So
Oh yeah, I
1 year.
forgot about that. It's always
Yeah.
surprising girls that get a ton of licks. You look
At
so
least-
sweet and innocent.
Remind me, did you get it? You didn't get any either, did you?
No, God, no. I was like, I was scared of everything and obedient to a fault. You know, I would go back and change that if I had to go back and change something. I
Oh.
would have rebelled a little bit more. I would have rebelled some, not more. I
Yeah.
didn't rebel at all. I mean, no.
I got all mine in 7th grade. Coach Upchurch gave me 2, Estes 2, and Selkie 1. So I got all those in lip. So Lisa, once you ask your question at the end, what,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we'll go into parting words after that.
Yep. So knowing what you know now and all the life lessons that you've experienced and learned, what would you go back and tell your younger self? And I'm going to start with Sharon.
So what would you text yourself?
What would you text yourself?
Besides, putting money on IBM or something or anything else. That doesn't count.
I guess just always keep your priorities right. And some of the things that seem like they're a big deal just aren't as big a deal later on. And so just maybe just stress over some of those things and just try to live in the moment, instead of always, sometimes we're just always in such a hurry that there's just so much going on. So just enjoy the moment and just don't worry about some of the small stuff that doesn't matter. But
Rodney?
Hmm. I think paying more attention in school would have been something I probably should have done earlier on. I wish I'd have paid. My career came a little bit later in life, and thank goodness, because I was a little bit, I was a little bit rambunctious back in the early days. But I think I would tell myself just to pay closer attention and just listen more, because I was kind of outspoken. I was kind of a mouth, and it always got me in trouble. So I think pay attention, be a little more studious, I think would have been something that I probably told myself. And
Cool.
I think too, my Christian walk was a little different. I think I would have started that a little earlier too. So, I
Nice.
think I would have been a lot stronger earlier.
Oh, good.
Great advice. Russell?
Big thing, just have more fun. Just enjoy. Don't be. I was too serious when I was out of high school and we first got married. So that would have been the biggest thing I would have said is just relax and have a little fun and enjoy. Like Sharon said, enjoy the moment. Have a little more fun and I don't know. I guess the other thing would be a little more respectful of other people. So I probably should have been a little better at that when I was in school and high school. Those would have been probably the biggest things for me.
Okay. Vicky?
Well, I would say the same thing is to slow down and enjoy life more. Things will work out the way they're supposed to be. And, I respect Russell and love him to death, but, he had cancer last year and that really set the tone of being more thankful for him. And so take the time to really enjoy each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I need to ask you too. Did you guys ever drive anywhere? Long distance?
Yeah, we did.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
more than 10 hours.
Well, our fifth wheel, was it last year or year before?
Yeah, but growing up, no, I don't think so.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we go to the
Okay.
coast down at Rock, would be about the farthest. That's about 8 hours.
Okay.
But that's no. We flew a lot when we were dating and first got married and stuff. So
Cool. All right. Liz.
Oh, I'm so glad you called on me first because he speaks for a living, and I'm so glad he's going after me. Yeah, I would say, I would say Jesus and people really matter. And I didn't know that as well growing up, as I do now. And I think just knowing Jesus and people around me who really matter, are just have made a huge difference in my life. And I've just grown so much and changed so much since Plainview days. I cherish those days for forever, but I am a different person. So I'm so thankful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Mhm.
I probably just would second that. If I was texting myself, I would probably say, the relationships are you're gonna look back on. Um, I think when I was younger, I was always, kind of driven to what's the next thing I'm going to accomplish, what's the next thing I'm going to do. Um, when you're young, you're ambitious in a lot of ways and idealistic in a lot of ways. And I think, you look back at this season of life, and you realize, man, it's the people in your life that really are the things that matter the most. So I would probably remind myself that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, we come to our end because we've been on for about a couple hours. Thank you guys. So we would like to go around one more time and ask for your parting words. And since you speak for a living, Craig and Liz, I want you guys go first.
Oh, I also forgot to say, if I could text myself, I would say definitely marry Liz. Okay. That's gonna work out fantastic.
Shut up.
That's gonna work out great, man. Yeah, it's been great to be on, get to hang out with you guys and just to reminisce of the past and just be thankful, right? Just super thankful for the place where we grew up and the community that we grew up in. Like you said, it when you see what's going on today, man, it was a real special time in a special place, and I'll always be grateful for that.
Me too. I'm just going to ditto that. I think growing up in a farming community was just the best life could have ever given me. And I am just very grateful. So thank you so much.
Rans?
Well, I'd say the same thing. We've been Albuquerque all around Fort Worth, for 30 years, and we're back here in Plainview, and it's still there's still good people here. There's still a lot of good people here. So, and it's evident with our group, I think, and visiting with y'all as well, and even the reunion we had. I hadn't made any of them until this last one, and it was good to see class members and just the people that we grew up with. It's kind of, when I look at my kids, it's a unique community, and it's still there. It's a little different, but it's still here.
Yeah, agreed.
That's good.
Vicky, are you going to add anything or you just, you know?
Sort of, but you just can't be small town folks. It's a heart of gold here, and it's evident in every one of us, and it still is. And I'm glad y'all did this program. Y'all are doing it. It's fun to see people that you haven't seen since high school.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hunts.
Yeah, I've enjoyed hearing everybody's story. I'm sad I missed our reunion. I was really looking forward to it, but I wasn't able to make it that weekend. But it's been great hearing all the stories and reminiscing, and I thank y'all for doing this, and I'm thankful for Plainview too and our friendships. And I was just thinking, I think we went to church together for a little bit right after Rodney and I got married. And at Trinity, did y'all go to Trinity Baptist, Craig and
Yeah.
Liz?
Yeah,
For a
we
little
did.
bit? Yeah,
We
I
did.
think for just a few months we did.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's cool that our son and daughter-in-law are going to church with the Harans, and
Yeah.
it's just neat, all the different connections that we have and how sometimes they come full circle.
It's neat to hear everybody's stories. Craig, I knew you guys were going to be married forever. Forever. I knew that long time ago. I was like, yeah, that's written
That's
in
good.
stone somewhere.
That's funny.
Even all my buddies be like, man, I sure wanted to go out with her. I'm like, no, she's off limits. She's Craig's.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. No, but I did enjoy my high school years. I probably enjoyed it more than I should have, but I think I found my best friend there, so that made it easy. And now it hasn't changed. Still have my best friend, so it's nice to see that y'all are all still together too. Because in today's world, it's not always the case. So
No,
and
it's not.
it's kind of neat to see people that followed those footsteps.
Yeah, for
Well, I
sure.
say bravo to y'all, all three of you guys. Seriously, I mean, last year we had Steve Olson and Cindy,
Yeah.
and Melissa and Scott Bauckham. So that was our first, and and we're gonna try to do this every year, trying to find high school couples. I mean, not necessarily dating since high school, but just got married, through high school. But bravo to y'all, and hopefully you guys. I mean, I know you guys will make it as long as my parents did. over 60 years. So bravo.
Yeah. You know, one of the gifts about being married to someone that you grew up with, or, you know, were high school sweethearts, is that you pretty much know everything about each other. It's not like, you know, dating somebody. My husband and I have only been married for 10 years. He has a whole lifetime. I mean, like, you know, we were in our 50s. And when you're married to your best friend and schoolmate, you know everything about each other. And I think that's a really, really super cool thing. It's another one of those things that's a gift and a treasure. And how fortunate y'all are to have that.
We've been together more than half of our life.
Yes, more than half of your life.
Wow.
You've grown up together. You've grown up together. You've seen each other grow. You
Yeah.
know, there's no secrets at this point in time.
Right.
You know everything about each other. I think that's really, really a wonderful, wonderful gift.
Thank
I'm
you.
just so honored that y'all agreed to come on our program, and it's so nice to see your faces after all these years. My goodness.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Well, thank y'all. And thank you. And hey, don't be a stranger. Come back on. I mean, I want to do an 84 football, more cheerleaders, more band. I guess Russell. I'm just kidding. No, Russell. Aviation. I think there's you have another classmate, Albert Chapa. I think he flies or flew like for FedEx or UPS.
Uh,
He was doing some aero care or something, medical flights for a while.
Was he? Okay.
yeah, I taught him to fly I gave him his multi-engine rating.
Oh, wow.
So,
Cool. So, well, anyway, guys, thank y'all.
Happy
Thank you.
And happy Valentine's. And
Thank y'all.
happy Valentine's.
you guys
Yeah, happy
enjoy.
Valentine's Day, everybody.
Tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the grandkids tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, enjoy them.
Good day.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for the
Welcome. My pleasure.
I don't know. This was different.
That's okay. I'll kick you out. How about that?
There it is. Okay.
He's used to that.
Hi.
Oh, that was sweet. Very sweet.
I
And
know.
again, I envy couples like that, you know, being together for a very, very long time. I mean, you and I both got hit with 2 divorces, and you're on your 3rd, and I'm not. But you know, it's you know, today's are for the last 20 years, divorce is nothing. I mean, people are getting divorced left and right. It's really hard for couples to stay together for a very long time. Now, our parents' generation, that was easy for them, but and before them, but now these days, forget about it. So it's a lot of work.
Well, you
So
know, I think part of it too is, you know, what we talked about at the beginning of the show is that, you know, prior to cell phones, people, you know, there wasn't Hinge or Match or, you know, whatever all the sites are now. Like there was a
yeah,
personality. You saw somebody or you were introduced or you met somebody. And so people put in more effort to get to know each other. And so those connections, I think, were deeper, those bonds were deeper. And so, you know, it's just a different era of communicating. And, you know, we're seeing the effects of that.
absolutely.
You know, I don't know what happened to us. We're from that era.
Wrong partner, wrong partners.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah.
So, all right, Miss Lisa, thank you. And uh, the next show in a couple weeks, Hartford and Plainview. We'll have some football players from Hereford and Plainview, and we'll talk about the rivalry back in the mid 80s. So I'm excited about that. And that's going to be part 1. We're working on a part 2 as well. So, but anyway, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Peace and love. Peace and love.